And you know what else happens about 4:30?
Yeah, one of my favorite programs, actually I would have to say my favorite program of the week, the Bishop's Corner, and we'll hear 4 or 5 questions during the entirety of the program, but each and every Thursday morning we bring you a highlight question of the week.
James is on social media. He says, Dear Bishop Thomas, I'm anxious to hear the answer to this myself. Who is the best homilist you have ever heard in person? What about the best Catholic speaker? These questions popped into my mind after watching some of the speakers from the National Eucharistic Revival. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, James.
Thanks, James. So thanks for writing. And I guess, first of all, you're talking about watching some of the speakers from the National Eucharistic Congress, because the revival, remember, is a number of years that we're still within, because now we're on the year of going out on mission as Eucharistic missionaries. So, and of course, I had the great privilege with 300 pilgrims from our diocese of traveling to the Congress together with them to Indianapolis, and to hear several of those speakers of whom you speak. I thought, though, Ron, that James's question was very unique, because you write, who is the best homilist you've ever heard in person? So I was interested by that, James, because that's a great distinction. Maybe I've watched a lot of homilists on YouTube, right? But who is the best homilist I've ever heard in person? My simple answer to the question is Pope Benedict, having heard him preach several times as Holy Father while I was in Rome. His preaching to me was extraordinary. It was biblical. It was catechetical. And there was no question that it captured me every single time I heard him preach. Other than that, I've said this often, I think even on this show, Ron, 2 other persons that come to mind for me in preaching would be Cardinal Timothy Dolan and Cardinal Edwin O'Brien. They're 2 people with whom I lived at the North American College when they were both rectors. And I really, I think my own preaching style was helped to be formed by their own preaching. And I think they're both just splendid homilists. So they would be some of the 3. Now, if you asked not in person, then, James, I'd have to go to somebody like Fulton Sheen, obviously, but I never heard him in person. And then you say about Catholic speakers, gosh, they are so many and several that I'd be hard pressed to answer that. But I certainly think that some of the Catholic lay evangelists that we've had in our diocese, like Chris Stefanik and others, they would really be speakers that I would turn to and say, gosh, they're great Catholic speakers and evangelists.
And, of course, you can hear that question and 4 others on the Bishop's Corner this afternoon at 4:30.